Hello, this is the TradeSite US Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning technically Sunday the 10th of November 2019 and ending Friday the 15th. However, Monday is a bank holiday here in the US, so even though we posted a couple of calls, I wouldn't go nuts. I'll refresh that in the Twitter feed. It's a bank holiday. US banks are closed on Monday for Veterans Day. It's also it's also options expiration for November already on Friday. So that's kind of interesting. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. Bounced back a bit after selling off, but the range for the year is still less than 4 points, which is really, really, really sad. I mean, if you go back and look at some prior years, let's take a look at 2014 or 2017, for example. Here's a 12-point range on the dollar index. So to be in a 4-point range all year is really just kind of sad and depressing in so many ways. Let's take a look at the euro dollar, which is usually the inverse of the dollar index. So it dropped a little bit last week. The pound dollar been sitting here for about a month. Dipped a bit last week, but nothing spectacular. Aussie dollar did almost nothing. Very low drift. Euro yen flat. Pound yen dead flat for a couple 3 weeks here. Pound Swiss even flatter for 3 weeks. New Zealand dollar dipped a little bit. If we look at the intra-week action, high to lows for the week on the euro dollar was about 140 pips, maybe 150. Not very exciting. 2 days of actual movement. The pound dollar high to low, a little bit better. Actually, not really. 100 and call it 180, 170. Still not very good, but we did all right. We had a couple winners for the week, so nothing to complain about, but nothing to get excited about. It is what it is, and we'll just keep moving forward. Let's take a look at the economic data coming out in the week ahead. So we had the last daylight. Oh, sorry, we're on the wrong one here. Let's go forward. Spanish parliamentary election this weekend. We've got the bank lending, Bank of Japan summary of opinions, core machinery orders, and current account out of Japan on Sunday night, along with their economy watcher sentiment. And then, as I said, well, France is on bank holiday, but also so is the U.S. and Canada for Veterans Day. So really not much to expect here. Do have some economic data out of the U.K. GDP, manufacturing production, construction output, goods trade balance, index of services, etc. Moving on till later Monday, we've got visitor arrivals out of New Zealand, M2 money stock out of Japan, business confidence out of Australia, inflation expectations out of New Zealand, 30-year bond auction out of Japan, preliminary machine tool orders out of Japan, foreign direct investments out of China, new loans out of China, M2 money supply out of China. UK has got their unemployment rate at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, and then the U.S. stock markets will open on Tuesday. They will be open on Monday, by the way. Banks are closed, but the stock market is not, but it's usually a waste of a day. German zoo economic sentiment, and then the broad European number, the same. NFIB small business index out of the U.S., mortgage delinquencies out of the U.S. coming out some point during the week. New Zealand's FPI, Australia's Westpac consumer sentiment, Japan's PPI, got Australia's wage price index, New Zealand's rate announcement for the 6-week window, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday night, and then their press conference going into Wednesday. German final CPI, your UK CPI, PPI, HPI, RPI. They put all their inflationary numbers at the same time at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Industrial production out of Europe, German 10-year bond auction, CPI here in the U.S. That's one of our big three, so we'll be half size ahead of that. Fed Chair Powell is testifying to Congress on Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Federal budget balance at 2. We got the preliminary GDP price index from Japan at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. MI inflation expectations out of Australia. Unemployment rate out of Australia. China's fixed asset investment, industrial production, retail sales, and unemployment rate all at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. German preliminary GDP, PPI out of Switzerland, French final CPI, retail sales out of the UK, flash employment change out of Europe along with their flash GDP, 30-year bond auction out of the UK. Canada's got their NHPI number. We've got core PPI here in the U.S., weekly, initial, and continuing jobless claims. Those are all three of them at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. 9:30 a.m. we got CB leading index out of the UK. Fed Chair Powell testifies to the other side of Congress. We got natty gas at 10:30. Crude oil inventories at 11 instead of on Wednesday because of the bank holiday on Monday. Fed members are speaking. We've got revised industrial production out of Japan And then on to Friday, Italian trade balance, final CPI out of Europe, trade balance out of Europe. Canada's got their nothing major. U.S. retail sales, import-export prices, and Empire State Manufacturing Index, capacity utilization, industrial production, and then business inventories to wrap up the week. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading